Hello everybody, and today I'm back to bring you some more election fraud news. And I know that the news media nowadays, and such as YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, all of them, do not want to admit that there's any election fraud, and this is 100% a foolproof election. But there's just a lot of incidences that maybe doesn't outright prove it, but makes you call into question what is going on. Again, I have a bunch of other videos that are on this topic, so please go throughout my channel and go look at them, right? And as always, everything that I'm saying will be linked down below in the description, so please, if you're doubting it, go look at it yourself, or just do a little bit of research yourself too, because I think being informed is the superior decision instead of just taking my word or anyone else's word. So let's start off with the big ticket item that was found, in which over in Georgia, there is footage of ballots being pulled out from underneath cables in suitcases and being counted without a observer around. And this was when they were told that, hey, the time was closed, so we're done counting for the night, so the observers all left. Now, per Georgia law, supposedly, and this is what Democrats are arguing, it is basically saying, hey, we can do this. And fair play to them as well if they wish to argue that point. Alright, cool, but it at least puts into question the validity of, well, the election. Anyways, as we put that part to the side, which is a smoking gun all things considered, but we look towards over the Dominion voting machines themselves, what we see is with the sequestered voting machines, they put out an equal amount of votes into the tabulators, right? So they put an equal amount of votes of Biden and Trump votes into them. And what we saw was a 26% lead with the votes coming out going towards Biden. Right, and we saw this, and they did this test at multiple different times, so please again look down to the Twitter link down below. It comes from a Rob Hurst CPA link, so you can listen to him, take his word for it. Again, do the research for yourself. What can also be seen is, again, that the GOP did obtain Dominion voting machines, and they did see that there was a switched vote. And as I said in a previous video, we saw the same thing happen over in Michigan, where we saw a bunch of votes switch over from a 3,000 votes going from Trump over to Biden randomly, and other instances of this happening. So we do see that the Dominion voting machine does have some issues. But okay, again, let's just give them the benefit of the doubt. There's no election fraud, right? That's what Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, they all want you to believe. Alright, cool, just it's a question in your head, something to think about. But as we keep going on, what we do see is Dominion voting machines are being held till further proof can be published. And this happened over with, I believe, in Georgia counties, where at least 3 of them, the judge ordered a complete freeze on them, because what we were seeing was the Dominion voting machines were being erased, their data being erased. And that's a little bit suspicious. If the election is completely fraud proof and that it's completely legit, why would we erase these? I just personally don't get it. But all right, we'll put, again, that to the side. These are all things that are stacking up onto each other, but, you know, so many coincidences can happen, right? We can have 100 different accounts of fraud, and they can all just be made up. I guess that's what the Democrats want us to believe, correct? But now what's even scarier is how a Georgia county cannot find a chain of custody records for their absentee ballots. And it's becoming harder and harder to find out, like, this is a 100% valid election. If it's hard to find these chain of custodies for records for these absentee ballots, that there are votes being switched and there's votes being pulled out of nowhere just within Georgia alone, and then this is only for this video. That's ignoring all my other videos, all the signed affidavits, all the eyewitness proof of seeing election and being told there's fraud, ballots being found on the side of the road. It's getting really hard to believe that this is a fair election. Maybe Biden did win legitimately, but I want to know by how much. But as we keep pressing forward, what we do see as well, and this is a little bit sketchy, is that there's a Georgia Democrat state senator, Elena Parent, who is shown handling, processing, and counting ballots. Take that as you will. There's 2 videos down below, and these are both from Twitter's Yes I Am the Boss and I Am K-Pack, which kind of show her in the video help doing all this. Her and then another Democrat state senator again doing all of this. It's just a little bit sketchy. Take it for yourself though. Go see the videos. I mean, it's a fair election, right? Why would someone who is a very much partisan individual and would have a vested interest in the elections be counting ballots? I don't know. Twitter tells me that there's nothing to see here, so I'll look the other way, right? So as we keep going again, because there is still more just to talk about, it's been quite the news week in general. What we see is that there was the Trump team witnessed alleged fraud within Ware County with the audit results. So again, this is another thing that you get to go look at. This is from the Georgia Star News, which discusses this specifically and kind of help give you a overall idea of what's going on. They talk about how there was flipped ballots going from Trump over to Biden. But again, who knows, right? This could all just be made up. Now let's look across the aisle to other states, and specifically Michigan and Pennsylvania. In Michigan, the Trump team has finally been allowed to probe the Dominion voting machines. With this, it's going to give us a better look into finding out if these are all anomalies that were going on, like what we see over in Georgia with that 26% switch over from Trump to Biden, giving Biden the lead, or, if this is a widespread fraud, because if this is widespread fraud, like many people believe, that can flip this election on the head. Now, again, we put aside Michigan because those results will take a little bit, and they only really do have until December 14th when we're going to go from president projected to president-elect. Let's look over towards Pennsylvania, where the U.S. Supreme Court moves up the deadline for evidence to be produced. So hopefully, and again, their whole goal here is to overturn the election, we can find out the results as soon as possible. Because once we have president-elect, and I'm sure with widespread fraud it can overturn the election, it becomes a lot more difficult. Now, if there are already all these questions in Georgia, and as we see in Michigan and Pennsylvania, consistent irregularities, then what these probes and all this should uncover is that there is tampering in some form. It should be able to be what we need to push Trump over the edge, and at least, in the very least, whether or not it's a Trump presidency, show that there is election fraud and we can fix it for future elections. Because a secure election is what is necessary in the United States for democracy. I'm not saying democracy that we're a democracy, but freedom in general can still stand. Now, as I said, this is to help keep all elections trustable, and the slightest bit of doubt must be looked into. If we gave over 4 years for Russia investigation to happen for Trump and Russia collusion, why can't we just give a couple months? Why is the mass media trying to push consistently saying there's nothing to see here? Look the other way, you stupid American public. It's really weird. And from the left, it's kind of disgusting too. I at least gave them some credit to look into it when it came to the Russian hoax, and yet we can't even get more than a month. It's been a little over a month, and it's been fought consistently, being told that we're being crazy, delusional, and that this is the fairest, freest election we have ever had. I don't know. Anyways, please again, do the research yourself. Go look down below and look at my other videos too. There's a bunch of evidence coming out. Again, go look over across the way to my past videos where it shows individuals saying, hey, yeah, I believe that there is fraud. Either case, thank you for watching. Please leave a like, please do subscribe, and God bless America.